Australian made and owned, Hi-Tech Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose Hi-Tech Oils for peace of mind.
It's round 2 of the 2018 Endurocross Championship presented by Moose Racing. Unique setting here. We are outdoors in a championship that normally competes under the roof of an arena, but certainly a familiar setting as so far as we're in Southern California. That is the heart of the American motorcycle industry, and Orange County Fairgrounds here has a great reputation for a lot of speedway and flat track racing. But a totally different track tonight. Hard to believe, yes, the airtime is actually the least challenging portion of the race. If you're up in the air for 2 or 3 seconds, that's a rest stop, which you normally don't get in Endurocross. But a big floor here allows us to build the big obstacles. Here is Super Endurocross Class Heat Race number 1. We're gonna go 4 minutes and 1 lap here. I am Jason Wygant here to give you the call, and this is gonna qualify riders for our main event. Cody Webb, certainly the favorite, your defending series champ on the number 1, but he's off the side of the track. I don't know how he saved that, and there's that big airtime you heard Kristen allude to earlier. Little on-off tabletop section using the logs. Oh, and a pileup. Cooper Abbott tried to get in there. He goes down, and he's holding everyone up, including the 84 of Tristan Hart. Hart was second. Abbott jumped past him, and then disaster struck. Oh, and I thought another mistake from our leader, Cody Webb, but actually it was perfect. He was just trying to get to the line he wanted in those rocks. This track a lot different though, just bigger in both speed and scale from what we saw at our opener. And I think after that first lap carnage, it's fair to say that the risk factor is bigger with the larger obstacles as well. And I'll tell you what, Webb looks pretty good. These types of sections does not have a motocross background at all. It's a trials champion. Other riders stuck back here. Dustin Headwall on a Honda. Webb does go to the local motocross tracks in Northern California where he lives to pick up the speed, but that's only something he did after joining the Endurocross Series and realizing he had to work on his weaknesses. And he has come a long way in figuring out these bigger, faster tracks and also working his way past Headwall, who's still having problems. More lap traffic. That's Brandon Petrie out of Canada on the 99. And a huge lead for Webb right now. Webb out of San Jose, California area, actually has a degree in mechanical engineering, was pursuing that college program while racing and even winning this championship. But now he's full-time riding and training. A little bit further back. Benjamin Herrera on the number 8 up to second, a good run for him. Trying to see who's closing the gap on Herrera, and he's looking as well. No, that's Headwall, who we already saw down quite a bit. Dustin McCarthy and Noah Keppel battling for 3rd and 4th, but pretty far back. Herrera trying to pick his way through that rock turn. Whoa, he gets elbow to elbow. 670 there is Dylan Schmoke, a motocross rider looking to convert over to Endurocross. When we get to Southern California like this, it's a great little exercise. See if Cody's a little bit stronger later on here because he's able to A, save energy in this heat, and B, rider goes down in front of him. I think just the 3 weeks between the opener and now, he's had more time to train and get back into his routine. Man, he is nearly lapping the 84 of Tristan Hart, who is one of the top guns in this series. Hart, remember, was down with Cooper Abbott on the first lap, and it has been a tough recovery. So this man, Herrera, has taken control on number 8. He is out of Chile and has a lot of experience in those hard enduro races as well. Again, that's more traditional enduro style racing outdoors. But we do have a roof over our head tonight. Most of the races here in Endurocross are scaled to be able to race inside arenas. And Herrera is showing to be a quick study. There's the patented leg out rock turn from Webb on the number 1 as he tries to work his way past Cooper Abbott. Abbott and Hart trying to claw their way back after that tough first lap. And you get an idea how physically demanding this sport is when when things get slow and you've got to muscle that bike through. Now you're just doing deadlifts or push-ups, pull-ups, bench presses, squats with 200 plus pounds of machine. It's easy when you ride like this, though. Cody Webb, a dominant performance in heat race number 1. Hart actually climbed his way up to 3rd. He did not get lapped. That was a good comeback despite the early problems. Keppel and Abbott round out the top 5, so a good comeback for Abbott as well. McCarty, Aranda, Wenzel, Dupuis, and Schmoke round out the top 10. Here's Kristen with your heat race winner.
Cody Webb picking up right where he left off in Prescott. Now, Cody, in those final laps, you ran into some lap traffic. How did you navigate yourself to the podium?
It was definitely tricky to get through the lap traffic, and I just had to be a little patient and see what they were doing. And I know in Prescott, both Cole and I had a really bad issue of taking ourselves out with the lap traffic. So tonight I don't want to do that again, and I just got to kind of gauge what they're doing and keep my distance, but also be aggressive when I need to.
Well, we'll see how Ty does now that heat race number 2 is ready to go. There he is on that number 14. Ty was 3rd in the championship last year, so the talent is there, but everyone hoping he can step up and maybe run with Webb, who won the first heat race. And then you see the number 10 on the back row of this heat, Colton Haker, who won the Endurocross Championship in 2017. So Colton, this is going to be a tall order to push and shove his way forward. The heat race underway. Colton's in the back. Ty Cullens grabbing the early lead. Look at Haker, though, somehow all the way to the lead, got to the inside, and I cannot believe this. And then everyone else left in the lurch. They can't get on top of that tabletop. Spencer Wilton on that orange number 17 gets left in dead last. Haker, I just cannot believe that. Started in the back, didn't even see him going into turn 1, and by turn 2, he had leaped into the lead. Tremaine is actually up to 2nd on that Alta. 96 is Cristobal Guerrero. Oh, and he goes down. Guerrero, another rider with a lot of experience in international enduro racing, and had a good start, but wasted it with that tip over. Looks like Kyle Redmond on the number 7 is taking over 3rd. There's Haker, there's Tremaine. So much talk about that electric Alta. This is a huge vote of confidence that Alta's jumping in here with both feet, taking Tremaine 3rd in the series last year, a top rider, and seeing if he can get even better on this all-electric bike. And I've talked to some of the principals behind that Alta company, and they're clear. They're not pushing this bike as environmentally friendly. They're pushing because they believe electric is actually superior to gas from a pure performance standpoint. And you see Redmond coming through here in 3rd, momentarily stuck. Here he is, we're on board. And you get an idea of how difficult these tracks really are. And you've got to negotiate the lap traffic. Here's the big jump. And then to the on-off. See that lane off to the left? That is the no-joke lane. It's actually a more difficult section. If he's locked in this season, he's going to be able to give Cody Webb all he can handle. He gave it to him and then some in 2017, but then Webb was able to get him back in the championship last year. Mason Ottersberg on the 35. I think he's still trying to work his way back into qualifying position. He was 4th earlier, but he's had some problems as well. Back to your leader, Haker. Guerrero in front of him. I would think this track's got to make Colton Haker smile. He is not afraid to air it out. He can do backflips. He can do all the best freestyle stuff. And by the way, he has a trials background. The versatility in his game from end to end is impressive, and he uses it to win heat race number 2. Aaron Wells, Palmer, Cullens, top 7. Colton Haker came from a back row start to win it, and he is with Kristen.
Colton, after taking a tumble in qualifying, you redeemed yourself, taking the heat win. How did you shake off the earlier day and go on to take this heat win?
Yeah, I just got a good start, and that really made my life easy. I was in the back row on the starting position. From the qualifying, I was last on gate pick, so back row start, but I just read everyone's reactions really well and tucked inside and came out like 2nd out of the first turn, then 1st out of the 2nd jump, and so then I just pretty much had the track to myself and rode my own race. I'm excited, stoked that I got the hot lap and the qualifying behind me. Now I'm in a great position, just like I was in Prescott, so we'll just keep on rolling.
Well done.
Well, that's not necessarily great news for Cody then, because he is on the outside, the left of his rival Colton Haker, and Ty Tremaine right there on the inside of the number 14. Let's see how the gate picks work. We're underway here at Costa Mesa, and Tremaine leads them into the first turn and out of it to the 14. Webb and Haker wheel to wheel for second. And off the track goes Kyle Redmond on the 7. Mistake for Haker. Big mistake. He cased it, landed on top of the log, gets off the bike, and now he's way back. And everyone knew that the opening lap would be so critical at this event. Here is Kristen with more.
When I spoke with Tristan Hart, he told me the focus this round is to increase his race intensity. He said he needs to get out of the gate and not be so conservative with his pacing. He said that is the mistake he made in Arizona, and tonight he needs to find that balance.
Well, finding it right now, Kristen, is Cody Webb. He gets to the inside of Tremaine. This is Cody's opportunity to check out while his rivals are in the back. On board, oh, Kyle Redmond down. And remember, he was off the track on lap 1. This is the type of carnage that you deal with when you don't get a good start or you make a mistake early. But a long race, plenty of opportunity to make up ground. If you're Colton Haker back here in the red gear, number 10, that's what you got to hope for. Everyone else is going to have mistakes and problems as well, and maybe you can make up for it. Right now, he's working on Wally Palmer, makes a quick pass. We definitely know that Haker has the speed to make these passes and get toward the front, but catching, you see he's in 4th right now, but catching Webb, who's out front, is not going to be easy because Webb has already stretched it out. Impressive for Haker that he's made up this much ground already. That's the section where he bobbled right there. Now he's got to get around Herrera, who has been a hero throughout the qualifying races, and then Hart, who is making that all-electric Alta look good from 2nd. Here's the pass attempt. And Haker able to lock down 3rd from Herrera, the rider out of Chile. Now up to 2nd place. He's right on the back of 2nd place. Ty Tremaine. And Webb has no idea how big of a lead he has. He probably doesn't even necessarily know that Haker was as far back as he was. He's just trying to put his head down and log his laps. Haker has nothing to lose. He's going to be full send mode right now as he closes down on Tremaine for 2nd. Little opportunity there, mistake for the 14. Here's Haker down to the inside. Makes it happen. But I'll tell you what, Tremaine, even though he's been passed by both Webb and Haker, this is a massive improvement over where he was on that electric Alta bike at our series opener when he finished 7th. So this is a big improvement, but you can see the focus of Haker to keep moving and try to get Cody Webb in sight. This section here, Haker has been very good. I'd say over the jumps and the more supercross style sections, that favors Haker, although he did crash on that on-off table at the beginning of the race. But he might be able to inch up in those areas, the more technical areas. Let's see this rock turn, see how smooth Webb was through there. That's where Webb would like to take advantage. These two know each other very well. They grew up together in Northern California as trials riders. They came through the ranks of Endurocross together and eventually went from young up-and-coming stars to the 2 dominant stars of the series. I cannot believe they're already up into lap traffic. That is how far Webb and Haker have separated themselves from the rest of the Endurocross field. Noah Keppel here, about to go a lap down. He's already been passed by Webb. Now Haker gets by. So both of the leaders clearing lap traffic fairly quickly, helping things even out. And he's got to be brimming with confidence knowing that he's been able to close in so quickly. Oh, what a show they're putting on for the fans here in California. Back to Kristen.
Thanks, Jason. It was a big week for Colton Haker. Not only did he celebrate his 29th birthday 2 days ago, this is his home state race, and his baby girl, London Rose, who's less than a year old, is in attendance tonight, this being her first race. Colton said just seeing her smile is the best feeling in the whole world. Jason?
Well, thanks, Tristan, and he's going to try to give her something to smile about. Daddy would like to go to the center of the podium tonight, but he's got to get through Cody Webb to do it. Yeah, both these riders, natives of Northern California, but as Colt mentioned at the top of the show, he has spent several years now living down here in Southern California. So he's got a lot of people in the stands besides the family pulling for him, and you can hear that crowd has come to life. What a battle. He tries to shove it down the inside, and he makes it happen. What a pass. Didn't even need to make contact, and the crowd explodes here with this come-from-behind effort. And Haker tries to sprint away, and a rare mistake for Webb in the rock turn. This is vintage Colton Haker, more the type of stuff that we saw from him when he finally nailed down the championship in this series after so many years of trying in 2016. Last year was not quite the same, was banged up a lot, and Cody Webb was focused, and Webb took advantage. Webb went on to win the title. These types of come-from-behind charges, that's the type of stuff that we saw Haker log when he won this title 2 years ago. And what a performance, now not only catching his rival and passing him, but look at him pull away now. Haker splits Tremaine. Shout out, by the way, to Tristan Hart, who is the third place rider on the 84. He has slowly worked his way through traffic as well. Don't quite see him back there yet. We'd hope for a mistake for one of these two, maybe sneak up there in a second place spot or even to get a victory, but it is going to be so hard to overhaul Haker on a day where he's riding this well. What a ride. Oh, and just as I say that, he goes down. How big of a lead does he have? Where's Webb? He's stuck, there's nowhere to go. He cannot take advantage of it. The line was blocked. And that's what Endurocross is all about. It just keeps adding depth to the storyline. Boy, in most races, we would have thought Haker had this totally under control, but on an Endurocross track, mistakes do happen, even to the best. Now Colton going back to work, trying to pull back away. See the countdown clock top right of the finish line. Riders left, 4 minutes left and 1 lap. And fatigue will be a factor. So many of the riders say when they really start putting the focus on this series, it's not the riding style, not the technique, the skill, it's the high heart rate that truly separates the best from this series. To be able to ride mistake-free when you are absolutely pinned. There's nothing smooth about these tracks, very few places to rest. And Haker, when he's on, he's just like an animal on the fitness side. He should be getting tired, but he's not. And even that little mistake, he was able to control himself, corral it, and march back away from Webb. So if Haker can hold on to win this one, it would be a statement-type ride. Look at the gap he has. This is not what Cody Webb likes. Now, we mentioned some nagging injuries for him in the offseason. He admitted he wasn't in the shape he wanted to be in the opener. You figure a few weeks later he'd be a little bit stronger. There's only so much you could do in 3 weeks' time. But this is not the type of intensity that Webb normally shows right now. He's backed it down just a little bit. And Haker has checked out again. Time running out for anyone to make a charge. Webb gets a good run at this jump. And a couple other things. We do not have a water crossing on this track like we normally do. And that will affect the track big time when you have it, as the water gets dragged out and gets on top of the obstacles and makes the entire track that much more slippery. Webb doesn't have that to try to hope that he'll get another mistake from Haker. Checking back in with Tremaine on the Alta. Led early, slid back to second and third, now fourth behind Tristan Hart. Hart, of course, third at our opener, so he's looking for back-to-back podiums to begin the year. As mentioned, a great improvement, though, out of the number 14 here you're looking at, Tremaine on that all-electric Alta, but he's about to go a lap down. Here comes Webb. You can see that number 1 looming. Back to your leader. Haker, such a dynamic personality on and off the track. It is impressive he can do the things he does. The vlogs, the videos, the social media work. As we check in with Tristan Hart in that third place position. But Haker proving he can do it all. Keeps the social media game rocking, but obviously he's focused on what he needs to do when he gets to the races this season. Webb. Just trying to bring it home and survive. And for so many years, Haker had this type of speed, the great riding style, plenty of daring, but he could never piece it all together. There were always crashes and mistakes at the wrong times. He has fixed that, but this has to rank as one of his best rides ever, to come from this far back to catch Webb and pull away, and quite quickly. If he can hold on, it'll be a statement performance. Takes a look over, sees the lead he has, but you know that's going to only motivate Webb to redouble his efforts. He knows 6-round series. On the nights that aren't your best, you still got to persevere. There's another glimpse of Hart back there in third. Haker deep into the lap traffic, into the rock turn. There's Hart. So the young man out of British Columbia, Canada, has really upped his game the last 3 seasons, and now to the point where he is a podium rider week in and week out. How much more in the tank does he have? If he gets a start at one of these, can he challenge, perhaps lead some laps, put some pressure on Webb and Hager, because the world's been waiting for someone to challenge them. Of course, for years we had the ageless Mike Brown battling in this series and the once dominant Taddy Blazusiak, but those riders have moved on, and it is nothing but Colton and Cody these days. Tristan Hart would like to be in that conversation. You see how quickly things can come undone. Rider makes a mistake, almost goes into Hager. But it's not going to happen. When you're hot, everything going his way. Even the mistake early, he's got to go through this no-joke lane. Pulls through it without drama. That was a requirement. He got through it. Now the checkered flag is in sight. Colton Haker wins at Costa Mesa. And that's a big one. It's been nearly a calendar year since Colton has won one of these. Oh, and down. This is the final lap, and just a yard sale. Big crash for Webb. Hager is already celebrating. Webb has actually lost second place to the never give up spirit of Tristan Hart. They were actually battling for second. That's why Webb went down. I was confused as to why he'd be pushing that hard in the last lap. He had to. A strong challenge from the young Canadian, and it has cost Webb dearly. He's going to lose second place points and go back to third. The last rider out on the track right now, so he just needs to bring it home, and this race will be concluded. Everyone else has been lapped. So Tristan Hart putting some pressure on the champ, and Webb, we'll show it to you again. He's on the left of the number 1. There's Hart on the 84 on his right. Webb goes down. Hope he's okay. He landed those rocks just wrong. You can have your problems, even though they're not going very fast through there. There's another view with the point of view camera. See how hard he hit. Ooh, well, that big ledge really caught him right there in the stomach and maybe the arm or elbow. So hope Cody's okay. What an upset. Tristan Hart getting in the mix. Tremaine fourth. Good ride in the Alta. Guerrero, who started it with a bunch of crashes in his heat, ends up fifth in the main, ahead of Herrera. Aaron, Redmond, Abbott, and Ty Cullens round out the top 10 tonight. Colton Haker has got to feel like he's back after a big win. Here's Kristen.
Colton, in 2017, you pulled yourself out of contention after a season-ending injury. This year, you redeem yourself. You're back up on the podium. A clean sweep here tonight. Not only a heat win, a head-to-head win, and a main event win, but you're returning to the podium. How good does that feel?
You know, honestly, the 2017 season and early 2018 season for me has been super rough. Not an Endurocross Series, but like the World Series and stuff, and I just been fighting off some, I don't know, like some inner demons, I'd say. I just couldn't really get over it during the beginning of the year, but my team and I regrouped and kind of pinpointed what was going on, and to fall down like pretty far back, like winning 2016 championship both here and in Europe, and then 2017 backing up in Europe, and then having just like the worst season, and I just was struggling so hard. My head was just exploding with what is going on, and to come back and like turn it all around and go from the bottom, I felt like, to now up to the top again. It feels like, you can't explain it. It feels amazing.
Speaking to this track, what about this track kind of fell into your wheelhouse? Because everything went right for you tonight.
Well, I wouldn't say everything went right. I kind of dig myself a bit of a hole in the first qualifier there when I went over the bars. It's not for television, so you didn't see it, but I had last gate pick in the second heat race due to a crash in the qualifying enemy, last place in qualifying. So, you know, other than that, it was a good night for me. Things did go my way. I even had a crash in the main event, kind of banged up my thumb. Gonna have to get that checked out again. And so, other than that, you know, it was a good night for me. And I just felt like I needed some redemption. That's all.
Colton Haker getting it done here in Costa Mesa.
Yes, thanks, Kristen. That is redemption, to come from last to first and win it. It appears the 2016 Colton Haker is racing again here in 2018, just right off last season. Cody Webb is going to have to answer back. He's now 4 points behind in the standings despite winning the opener last week. And there's a new contender to think about, Tristan Hart.
Tristan coming home second tonight. You had told me earlier in the day that you wanted to figure out your pacing. Do you feel like you did that?
I would say no. I wanted to get a good start, but my bad gate pick just didn't allow that tonight, and I got jammed at the back of the pack, and I worked through the pack as fast as I could, but those guys were like half a lap in front of me by the time I got there, and I charged the whole way through, and at the end I was inching towards Cody, and I'm like, holy, if we're going to do it, we need to do it right now. And last lap through the rocks, we both sent it just Hail Mary, and he crashed and I did, and that was a good feeling to track him down and beat him straight up. I haven't done that before.
Congratulations, Tristan.
So that's it, arm pump. You could definitely tell that Webb was not at his usual speed the back half of that main event. But we're only 2 rounds into a 6-round championship. Both he and Hager have won a race. We got a new contender in the ranks too. This is going to be a great season. For Chris and Beat, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching Endurocross in Costa Mesa. Congrats to Colton Hager.